What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So, Feld really shut down the Road to Recovery? I'm going to explain exactly how that happened, and yes, it happened. In that 450 main, was there any doubt in anyone's mind that Cooper Webb was going to catch and pass Roczen? If there's ever been a one-sided rivalry, I don't even know if you can call it a rivalry because Webb always gets the better of him. I think Ken's got him like once. I'm glad the Nano-Xtreme that we've sent out to everybody is working. Like I told you guys, don't take my word for it. Send me your address. Go with your name, address, and email, just like P. Davey here, and we'll go ahead and get that shipped out to you. And you don't have to take my word for how good this stuff is. Try it yourself. And when you're ready to buy it, head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code Cooksy for free shipping. And if you find yourself looking for things to watch, head over to the Coach Rob YouTube channel. He's got all sorts of content over there. He's got a great interview with Jeremy Martin. He's got an amateur podcast. He's got a vet racer podcast. And he's got a plethora of stuff to help you meet your training needs. So check out Coach Rob on YouTube.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So the greed at Feld knows no bounds. It's insanity. Get this. So the Road to Recovery, for those of you that don't know, this is an organization set up to help injured riders because they don't have big insurance policies, and the promoter doesn't have insurance for these guys. They're all on their own. So when they get hurt, in particular, a lot of the privateers, they're struggling. Even if they have insurance, insurance only covers so much, and these injuries are serious. That's where the Road to Recovery steps in, covers their bills, helps them navigate these rough times when they are injured. What a great organization, right? They literally help keep riders healthy and take care of, the people who actually make up the events that Feld promotes. So you'd think they'd have no problem letting them do a fundraiser at Supercross, right? You would be wrong if you thought that, because so the Road to Recovery, they pay their own way to go to these events. They set up their booth. Yes, Feld lets them set up in the pits without charge. Oh, how nice. Bring awareness to the Road to Recovery, and the donations were kind of low. So, the smart people at Road to Recovery went, hey, why don't we do this? Anyone who gives over $50, we'll just put together a little gift bag and just give it to them, right? It's not a sale. It's any donation over $50, you get a gift bag, right? Pretty cool. Good cause. You get some swag. What a great idea for everybody. Well, the fine folks at Feld didn't like this. Apparently, Feld merchandise sales were slightly off. So they went over to the Road to Recovery. This is Dave Prater, who I've always thought Dave Prater was a decent guy, but he works for some really awful people. But this was him specifically that came over and shut this down. Him and Mike Mewey are two guys that, like I said, anytime I've ever had to deal with either of those two guys, it's been reasonable. With that said, they also work for some evil, greedy bastards. With their merchandise sales being down, they went over to Road to Recovery and said, you can no longer give away the gift bags because I think people are they're spending their money with you and donating towards this cause, and they're not buying merchandise. So you are no longer allowed to give out gift bags for donations. And now, before they came up with this gift bag idea, the Road to Recovery was going to work these events, but essentially they were going to work these events, and the donations they got barely covered their expenses to get there. So it doesn't make sense to keep going to these events and setting up a booth because you're just breaking even. It doesn't do anything. When they gave out the gift bags, they were getting upwards of $10,000 in donations to injured riders. So not only is Feld not offering health coverage to the riders, they charge the riders to compete. They sell tickets to the events these guys pay to race. They treat them like dirt. They kick privateers out of the pits for being too loud or possibly putting on too good of a show like Colin Morrison. And now they don't even want a charitable organization who helps these guys when they get hurt, possibly cut into their merchandise sales. You want to talk about greed on the highest level? Come on, this is disgusting. If you think the people at Feld do this because of the love of the sport, what they did with the Road to Recovery tells you everything you need to know. But that's enough about my rant, so let me get into the racing because it was good. Cooper Webb is a dog. There might not be a mentally stronger racer in this field. Have you ever seen a champion win more races with less speed? And I'm not saying he's not fast, but he's never had that speed that like Roczen shows, Sexton shows, Jet, Tomac. He's never had that like blazing speed. Cooper Webb wins races with mental toughness and racecraft. He is so clever in the way he just inches away from everybody. He will never give you an inch. And as the pressure ratchets up, he gets better. He's like one of those basketball players. It's like 50-50. But at the end of the game, you always give him the ball because for whatever reason, when the pressure's on, he just makes it. That is Cooper Webb. And he stays in these championships until the very end. To put it into perspective, he has less than half the wins of Eli Tomac, yet he's got 2 championships. Eli's only got 2, and he's got like 53 wins. Cooper Webb has 26 and the same amount of championships. That shows you his racecraft. He stays in it. He's got a ton of podiums. And the one thing about Cooper Webb is he will never give you that big mistake. The one that Sexton repeatedly gives everybody, Webb just doesn't do that. And I have been very critical of Ken Roczen and his personality off the track. I think he's kind of a dick. That's my personal opinion. I don't like the way he carries himself. I don't like the way he treats people. But one thing I will never say is that dude can ride a bike. He is one of the most talented people I've ever seen throw a leg over a dirt bike. He's riding the Suzuki. And I'm not bashing Suzuki, but there's not nearly as much technology in that bike as his competitors. But the thing about racing dirt bikes is when you ride a bike, if you're confident in your machine and you know what it's going to do, you can push to levels that you wouldn't. If you have a better bike, but you don't know exactly what it's going to do and you don't have confidence and you can't push to that edge, I would much rather take the bike you feel comfortable with. And that's what I see with Ken Roczen on that Suzuki. The team has done an amazing job making this bike fit with what he likes. I mean, he was flying out there. For all intents and purposes, he should have won that main event. If it was anybody but Cooper Webb in second place, he probably would have won. But you can go back 7 years when Roczen made that statement, when I think he called Cooper's wife, I think he quit dating her, and then he said he's so happy with his life, no more hoes and headaches. That has haunted Ken Roczen, haunted him. Cooper Webb has taken that and literally changed the trajectory of Ken Roxon's career. Ever since then, he battled him when he was on Yamaha. Remember, Ken was coming back from the arm injury. Webb was literally bullying him around the track. And then he tried to come back on Webb, and his other arm went in the wheel. And then from there, Webb gets on the KTM, finger guns him at Anaheim, and just goes on a run. Now I have to wonder, would Cooper Webb have been on such a great run if he hadn't been so motivated by Ken Roczen? We'll never know because we have seen what he's done. But dang, I honestly think had Ken Roczen never poked the bear like he did with Cooper Webb, we might not see the great career that we've seen. I mean, he's good. You can't argue the talent. But there was a time when he was leaving Yamaha before he got on that KTM, Cooper Webb looked like a guy that might even have to go the privateer route. I mean, he was that bad on the Yamaha that last year. And for him to have turned it around in 1 year on that factory KTM, won the title, and just completely cemented himself as an all-time great. I sure bet Roczen wanted that tweet back. That was a bad one. Chase Sexton, the merchant of speed. He's back. This is the Chase Sexton we saw a couple years ago, the one that won the championship. Extremely fast, but has a tendency to make big mistakes. That's what Chase Sexton does. In that main event, he hit the gate, crashed. His bike was twisted. You could even see his arm was like kind of sideways. I have no idea how he went that fast on a bike that was that twisted. Dude is a beast. He was almost a second faster than anyone on the track. He did like a 47.4. Everybody else was in the 48s, mid 48s. He's going through the field setting these lap times. This wasn't out front with a clean track like Roczen and Webb had. He did this going through the entire field. He spotted him like 30 seconds off the start. It was crazy. To do that in this field in Supercross, to go all the way up to the podium, he wasn't that far from the leaders at the end. I mean, damn. It wasn't a win, but that was one of the most historic rides you'll see of Chase Sexton. Had he gotten a 9th or 10th, man, his championship hopes, you don't want to give points away to Cooper Webb. He only gave a few away, and that was major damage control with Chase Sexton. But this thing's going to go down to the very end. I look for Chase to win a lot of races, but he's also going to have those mistakes. That's who he is when he goes that fast. It's very important for Sexton to gain points on Webb in Arlington. Cooper Webb is historically good at Arlington. Remember, that's the race where he caught and passed Roczen at the very end and had that like photo finish. I say caught and passed him like it's only one time. It's been so many times. But that one was very memorable because it was for the win on the last lap, and it was about a knobby that he won by. Check out Ride Strapped, best goggles, glasses, shirts, just a cool company. We got the Cooksy Cookout in Daytona Sunday after the Supercross. I will have a sign-up sheet here pretty soon, so check out Ride Strapped. Get your shirts, glasses, and goggles. Precision Transport, best shipping company you'll ever deal with. Family owned, they provide good tracking numbers, they make sure to take care of you. So hit up pretransport.com if you need to ship anything. Motobilia, a high-end motorcycle memorabilia website. Check this site out. There's some really cool stuff on there. I like just looking at it because there's so many collectibles on there and I just enjoy looking at those. So check out Motobilia, and they are giving the RJ jersey and then the Cooper Webb Red Bull helmet to members next month. So Malcolm Stewart, I was really intrigued by what I was going to see this week. He had that gigantic win that was literally the pinnacle of his career, to win a 450 Supercross race in his hometown, coming from behind. That was big. But just like we see it in other sports, you see a football team, anytime like a team has a gigantic win, the next week there's always like a lull. It is so hard to mentally reset after such a high in 6 days. I was worried how he was going to handle it. He handled it perfectly. He didn't come out and win. He didn't gain momentum and just keep it. But he didn't have that gigantic downswing. He got fourth, almost got a podium. I mean, he's really riding good. Now, after getting a race in between, he knows he can win. He's got the speed. What's he going to do at Arlington? Can he get on the podium in Arlington? Because I know when they go to Daytona, he can absolutely win there. I'm going to keep my eye on Malcolm for the next 2 races. I really think he's going to win one of these next 2 races. How about Justin Cooper? This guy just keeps logging good results. 5th place for a guy who, going through the whoops, looks like a privateer. Actually, a lot of privateers were faster than Justin Cooper in the whoops. Anthony Rodriguez, he was at the same speed as Kyle Chisholm. This dude is so slow in the whoops, but he's so fast everywhere else. For him to be managing top 5 finishes is damn near amazing. That'll tell you what good starts and consistent riding will do. If he ever figures out how to get through the whoop section, this guy will be battling for wins and podiums. That's how good Justin Cooper is. Jason Anderson, man, he's been really good all year, but just not quite with that lead group. He's battled and he's got some podiums, and he almost had one this weekend. If it wasn't for that miraculous ride by Chase Sexton, I mean, El Hombre fought him hard, and then he had that big crash. I'm glad he was okay, somewhat okay. He still finished, I think, like 7th or 8th. El Hombre wants to win, but he just doesn't quite have the speed as those top guys. And I don't know at this point in the season if you're going to be able to find that speed. But I'll tell you what, Jason Anderson is a dog, and if you want to try and get a podium from him, you're going to have to earn it. One of my favorite guys, and one of almost everybody's favorite guys, Aaron Plessinger. I don't know what's going on with him right now. This does not look like the same guy we saw last year. Last year, he won around, he had the red plate, he was a contender. This year, I don't know what's going on. He looks like a different guy out there, and I think I have a kind of an idea. This is a sport with confidence. Confidence is so important. You have to believe you have the speed, you have the talent. He has the bike, because you can't blame the bike, because Chase Sexton's on the same bike, and look how fast he's going. But once you get a few races where you don't have good results, that confidence chips away. You can tell yourself all you want, but once you find yourself in that zone, that's why in the first race of the year, everybody thinks they have a chance. And then after a few races, you kind of slot in confidence-wise where you should be, and it's really hard to break that once you're into the season. I don't know if Plessinger can get back up there. I have to hope he does. He's really good at Daytona. Maybe Daytona is a race where he can get that confidence back. He just needs one of those breakout rides, and he'll be right back in this. Justin Hill. I love watching either Hill brother ride. They are so talented. Justin Hill got, I think, 9th. And while that's a good finish on paper, he was not happy. He's like, listen, I know what I need to do to fix it. He knows he can run up there in the front. He knows he can be top 5. He knows he could get a podium if everything goes the way it should and he rides the way he can. He says he knows what he needs to do to fix it. I'm looking forward to see, if Justin Hill says he can fix it, I believe him. Look for a good result from Justin Hill in Arlington. Maybe they'll have a big quad or something that he'll hit that nobody else will. That's what Justin Hill does. I like to do current event podcasts occasionally where I don't talk about motorcycle stuff. I just talk about things that are going on in society. And I had to laugh. I saw the video. I don't know if you guys watched the UFC. John Jones did a drunken live on Instagram where he said he wanted to kill his kids. I don't think he really wanted to kill his kids, but he said that, and that's the way it came across. It came across really bad. Everybody said, oh, I want to kill my kids. But I don't think it meant literally. But it reminded me of a funny story. Back in the day, my kids were goofing off and acting up, so I convinced them that there's a loophole in the law that says if I created you, I can take you out of this life, and that I could kill them legally, just as a joke. I only let it go for like an hour, but for about an hour, my kids thought me and my ex-wife could actually end their lives and be okay with it because we brought them in. True story. Not a great way to parent. I was just kidding. I only did it for like an hour, and then I let them know that was ridiculous and that doesn't actually happen. Check out Alias MX. Justin Starling was out there with that Alias gear, looking good, got into the main event. Go to Alias MX if you want some badass gear that not everybody at the track will have. Get yourself something that stands out from the